All right, guys. Last session, Raarh, Saxi, and Mite ventured into Madame LaSalle's fine clothing shop, searching for outfits to blend in with the nobles. What started as a simple shopping trip quickly turned into chaos when Madame LaSalle recognized Raarh as the very person who had taken her legs out from under her during their last visit to Waterdeep. She refused to sell them the clothes unless they paid a ridiculously inflated price, 10,000 gold. Things escalated when Mite lost control of his newfound powers, transforming into a terrifying black, tar-like creature. He intimidated Madame LaSalle into submission, grabbing her by the throat and forcing her to hand over the outfits, but not before leaving her utterly terrified. After that, Raarh, Saxi, and Mite left the shop with their new clothes, though not without some tension about Mite's transformation. After a brief discussion, Saxi and Mite had a moment where Saxi voiced his concerns about Mite's new abilities, urging caution and control. Meanwhile, the group continued onto the outskirts of the airship docking bays. As they approached, they were greeted by the sight of 3 massive airships hovering above the city, one significantly larger than the other 2. The docking area was heavily fortified, with a mix of Waterdeep and Capital soldiers patrolling the perimeter, adding to the sense of heightened security. So you're all back together now. What would you like to do?
Well, we should start making some progress with this plan. Time's ticking, and we need to make sure we're ready before these airships set off. If we're going to blend in with the nobles, we've got to look the part. I reach into the bag of clothing and pull out an elegant gown, the one we got for Celestia. Here you go, Celestia. The outfit we picked up for you, noble, subtle, and it should help you fit right in. I'd say it's a good look for you.
Oh, have you been thinking a lot about what would be a good look for me, Saxi? You sound awfully confident in your fashion choices.
What? No, the outfit's fine. It's just, functional and all that.
I'm just teasing. Relax. All right, Joe, I take off my current outfit and begin changing into the new one.
Don't you want to find somewhere a bit more private for that?
Private? We're about to infiltrate a ship full of nobles who probably bathe in front of their servants. This is nothing. But if it makes you blush, Tronald, I'll be quick.
Oh no, it doesn't make me blush. I'm fine with it, honestly. More than fine, actually. I mean, it's completely normal, right? It's not like I haven't seen, people change clothes before. I mean, we're all adults here. It's totally fine. No big deal. Just, yeah, fine. Completely fine.
Oh my God.
Whoa! Hold up a second. Did I just hear you stumble over your words, Tronald? That's a first. You're looking a little tense there, buddy. What's the matter? Celestia changing got you all flustered or something? You're not usually this awkward.
Shut it, Raarh. It's not like that. I'm just trying to be respectful, all right? I don't want to see her dignity besmirched or anything. Besides, someone's got to keep things professional around here.
As Celestia nonchalantly changes into her new outfit, you can't help but notice the reaction of the people passing by. Their gazes linger longer than necessary, eyes wide with interest. A few men receive sharp elbows in their ribs from women who you assume to be their partners, quickly looking away, though not before sneaking one last glance. From a distance, a group of middle-aged dock workers leans against a stack of crates, grinning and muttering amongst themselves. You hear the low whistle of one of them, followed by a couple of catcalls. Their voices rise just enough for you to catch, though they're clearly trying to be heard. Oi, check out the fine lady there! Might want to dock at that port, eh, lads?
Charming.
Hey, Tronald. I think they're the ones besmirching her honor over there. I jerk my thumb toward the group of dock workers who are still grinning and chuckling amongst themselves. Maybe you should go give them a lecture about dignity and all that. Before they catch a face full of your righteous fury or whatever.
It's really not that deep, Raarh. Just let it go, all right? The way I say that seems almost forced, and my eyes flick toward the dock workers, telling a different story.
Yeah, let's definitely not start any trouble here. Last thing we need is a brawl in the middle of the docks. We've got bigger things to worry about than a few idiots with nothing better to do. I shoot a look towards Raarh.
Oh, come on, Tronald. Are you sure it's not bothering you? I mean, I could always go over and introduce myself properly. Maybe they just need a closer look.
Hey, if that's the way you want to roll with dock workers, then be my guest.
Or, better yet, let me introduce myself to them, yeah? I've got a special way of making sure people learn respect. Just a couple of broken bones here, a few crushed egos there, nothing major.
Feed me. Huh? You hungry or something, Raarh?
What? I wasn't even thinking about food until you just brought it up. Why would you do that? Now that's all I can think about. You've doomed me, Mite. Doomed me to a life of endless hunger. I mean, I was perfectly fine, perfectly focused, and now all I can think about is a massive roast
I'm
ball,
hungry,
crispy
Mike.
on the outside,
You will
juicy on
feed
the
me
inside.
of
Maybe
your
with
own
a side of
accord,
potatoes.
or I will
and
feast
those
on what I
little grilled
desire
mushrooms.
myself.
Or maybe a full-on
The choice
banquet
is
with
yours.
pies and meats.
But
and,
make no mistake,
I can't even
I
focus
will
on
be
anything
fed.
else now. You've ruined me.
Sorry, what? How am I supposed to hear what you're saying if you're just talking over each other?
It seems thy friend is in a state of confusion, his mind clouded by voices not his own. I wonder what doth trouble him so. Perhaps it is the black pudding that plagues his thoughts, gnawing at his will, creeping ever closer to control.
Oh, black pudding! That would go perfect with my roast ball.
You're running out
I
of
mean,
time,
think about
Mike.
it. Crispy
And
ball on
I
one side, a
am
thick
running
slab
out
of
of
black pudding on the
patience.
other, maybe
Feed
even
me,
toss in some
or I will
sausages for
take
good
what I
measure.
am owed.
Oh, and
You
eggs.
can delay,
You can't forget
but you
the
cannot
eggs.
escape.
Yeah, fried up nice and runny with some roasted chicken.
What the hell are you lot even talking about? 1 minute we're standing here trying to blend
Tronald,
in, and the next we're
I
rambling
trust
on
you
about
found what
putting
you
in
were
roast
searching
boar,
for at the
like we're at a
Mythos
bloody
Citadel.
cabin. I mean,
Or
seriously,
perhaps
why do we even get onto the
you
topic of
merely
food in the
stumbled
first
upon
place?
more questions than
We're supposed to be
answers.
planning, the whole infiltrating the
A
airship
futile
thing,
chase,
and now it's all
always
black
2
pudding
steps
this and
behind,
gravy that.
grasping at the remnants of forgotten knowledge.
What is this? A dinner party?
Stay out of my mind.
All right, whatever. Joe, I cast greater invisibility on myself.
What the fuck?
As you're all in the middle of your interesting conversation, you notice Mite's hands subtly move through the air, weaving arcane symbols. Before anyone can even question what he's doing, his form begins to shimmer and distort, like heat rising from the ground on a hot day. Within seconds, Mite's figure flickers and then vanishes entirely. The space where he stood is now empty, and the faint sound of air being displaced is the only clue that anything occurred. You're left staring at the spot where he once stood, trying to process how someone who was just part of the conversation moments ago has seemingly disappeared into thin air.
Well, that's one way to leave a conversation.
Why the hell did he disappear? I mean, we're literally just standing here talking.
Maybe he's off hunting again. You know, just sneaking around, waiting for the perfect moment to pop up and, I don't know, strangle a noble or something.
Please, Raarh, he's a bard, not some silent assassin.
No, that's exactly what I feel like he is right now.
Well, there's not much we can do about it now, seeing as, he's invisible. It's not like we can call him back with a whistle. He'll pop up when he feels like it, I guess.
So, Mite, you're invisible. Now what?
I don't even know, man. I guess I'll talk to my roommate. All right, what's your problem? I thought you were some mystical being from beyond comprehension or whatever, and now you're whining about being hungry. Why do you even need to eat? And more importantly, what kind of food are you after?
Mystical? No, Mike. I am very much material. Flesh and bone, sinew and soul. And I feed on people. Not often. Just whenever I get a little peckish. But for your own sake, you should make sure something is readily available when that time comes. Because if I get hungry and there's nothing to eat, I might just lose control and help myself to whatever's closest. And that could be quite unfortunate for your friends.
Nah, I don't like this at all. Get out of my head. I didn't sign up for this eating people crap, and I sure as hell don't want any part of it. I thought you were about power, about making me stronger, not turning me into some kind of monster. I'm not here to be your butcher. This isn't what I agreed to.
That's exactly what you agreed to, Mike. You will feed me. And there's no severing our connection now. No breaking this bond. The pact has been made. And if I leave, well, let's just say you won't last long without me. You'd wither away and die. So it's in both our interests to make this work, don't you think? Since we're going to be together for the rest of your life, however long that may be, we really should try to get along. The stronger our bond, the stronger you become, just as I promised. And besides, you shouldn't knock something before you try it. You might find the delicacy of your kind to be quite enjoyable. Now, might find someone now.
Joe, I need to find someone for this thing to eat. I was thinking maybe one of the people catcalling Celestia, but it's not really a crime, is it? This is such a mess. I've got a minute until this invisibility wears off, so I need to find someone. Quick. Can I run to the nearest alley and see if there are any, wrongdoers?
Give me an investigation check, Mite.
Oh, come on, that's a 4.
You sprint into a nearby alley, heart pounding, eyes scanning the surroundings as your invisibility threatens to disappear. But the moment your feet hit the cobblestones, you realize luck isn't with you today. All you see are a few children playing with a ball, their laughter echoing in the narrow street. An elderly couple slowly walks by, arm in arm, their eyes turned skyward, admiring the massive airships overhead. And to your left, a merchant surrounded by trinkets and goods rests beside a weary mule laden with stock. Nothing. No criminals. No thugs. Just innocent people. Your time is running out, and the pressure builds as you feel your invisibility beginning to fade. Your heart races as you know what the voice in your head is urging you to do. But none of these options are remotely justifiable, with every second that passes being another moment closer to losing control.
All right. Let's make a deal. You're going to have to settle for that mule over there. Will that do? Well, it better, because I sure as hell ain't doing anything to those kids or that old couple.
But I don't want the beast. I want people, Mite. People. Their fear. Their flesh.
And I'll get you your damn people. Just give me more time next time, all right? How about not springing it on me out of nowhere like this? If you want us to work together in harmony or whatever, maybe you should give me some advance notice before you start acting all demanding and shit.
Give me a persuasion check, Mite.
That's a 23 total, Joe.
I'm not happy with this arrangement, Mite. Not at all. But for this one time, I'll make an exception. The mule will do. For now. But don't make a habit of this.
Yeah, I'll do my best to keep your dietary preferences in mind next time. Joe still invisible, I run over to the mule and summon forth the symbiote. Go on, do your thing.
As you linger in the shadows of the alley, Mite, the familiar cold sensation begins to creep through your veins. The transformation starts, the symbiote rippling over your skin like dark liquid ink, still cloaked in invisibility. You can feel the creature inside you taking control, muscles tightening, senses sharpening, and an insatiable hunger gnawing at your core. From the merchant's perspective, the scene looks innocent enough. He's tending to his wares, absent-mindedly checking his stock as his mule munches on a bit of hay, but something in the air shifts. The mule stirs, its ears flicking back, uneasy as if it senses something. The merchant pays no attention, too focused on counting his coins. Then, in the blink of an eye, the invisible symbiote lunges forward. Mite, your now monstrous form, wraps around the mule, tendrils snaking and coiling like the limbs of a shadowed beast. The mule lets out a brief, terrified bray, but it's cut short as the symbiote engulfs it whole, devouring flesh, muscle, and bone in horrifying silence. Mite, you can feel every fiber of the creature as it tears into the animal, the rush of feeding coursing through you like pure adrenaline. It's terrifyingly exhilarating. From the merchant's point of view, his mule simply disappears. There's no noise, no struggle, just a sudden, inexplicable absence where his animal once stood. He looks around in bewilderment, his brow furrowing as he scratches his head, wondering if his eyes are playing tricks on him. But there's no trace. Just an empty space where the mule had been moments before.
I quickly make my way out of the alley and back towards the rest of the group.
All right, you dart out of the alley, moving as quickly as you can, but the moment you step back onto the street, you feel it, a heavy, overwhelming sensation of fullness. Your stomach feels like it's about to burst, and you instinctively grab at your gut, wincing as you slow down for a moment. Your invisibility flickers, then fades completely, revealing you to the world just as you catch your breath. About 100 feet ahead, you spot your friends still standing there talking, clearly confused about your sudden disappearance. You trudge forward, the weight in your stomach making every step feel like a marathon. The discomfort is almost unbearable, but as you move closer to them, something strange happens. The sensation of being overstuffed starts to fade. Faster than it should. The mule's body, which felt so solid moments ago, seems to dissolve within you, breaking down at a rapid pace, as if consumed by the symbiote faster than your body could ever manage on its own. By the time you reach the group, you feel lighter, almost normal again, though still a bit winded. You finally land next to them, hands still clutching your stomach as they turn to look at you.
Oh, look who's back. Where the hell did you go? 1 minute you're here, and then poof, gone. What gives?
And why are you holding your stomach like that? You got the shits or something? Because if you do, don't come any closer. I don't want to catch whatever plague you've got.
Yeah, that checks out. If I really needed to take a big old poo, I'd probably turn invisible too. Makes sense. Ain't nobody want to see that.
Wait, hold on. If you turn invisible because you really need to take a dump, does the poop stay invisible once it comes out? Or does it reappear, like halfway through?
Good question. So what, you're saying if you go invisible and drop a deuce, we could just have ghost turds lying around?
Well, that'd be one hell of a prank, wouldn't it? Just invisible poop everywhere. People walking through it and wondering why their shoes smell so bad.
But no, seriously, would it stay invisible? Like, if it's part of you when you go invisible, or does it stay cloaked until it hits the ground?
Imagine the confusion, just minding your business and suddenly, bam, visible turd midair. Or worse, it only reappears once it splats. That'd freak someone out for sure.
Right, so you could be walking around thinking everything's fine, and then you turn around and surprise, it's like a poop ambush.
Okay, but realistically, it would probably lose its invisibility the moment it left your body, right? Like, you're invisible, but the second it's free, it's visible again.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you could be invisible, but you'd leave a trail of evidence.
Ah, the mysteries of invisibility.
Well, guess that settles it. If you turn invisible and take a dump, it's only invisible until it's mid-flight. Then it's back for everyone to see.
Well, it's only a theory right now, buddy. Remind me to test it with you at some point, Raarh. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Hey Joe, quick question. Would that be classed as an attack? Like, would it break invisibility?
Probably, yeah. Unless it's greater invisibility like Might used, then you'd be fine.
Nah, but seriously, back to the topic at hand. You look like you've just eaten a horse or something, Might.
It was a mule, actually.
I'm sorry. What?
Oh, wow, I only meant that as a figure of speech, but damn.
Yeah, it was a mule. The thing in my head wanted to eat, and well, there was a mule nearby, so...
You ate a mule? You can't just drop that like it's normal, Might. Who even does that?
Apparently Might does that.
Oh man, that's amazing. What did it taste like? Wait, let me guess. Like chicken, right?
Honestly, didn't get much of the taste. It all happened pretty fast. It was more like a quick snack for the thing living inside me.
It's at this point you notice the merchant, the one whose mule Might consumed, wandering around looking increasingly confused. He's pacing back and forth, calling out for his missing mule like it just wandered off, completely oblivious to the fact that the poor creature is now part of Might's digestive history. Every so often he scratches his head, peering around as if the animal might just materialize out of thin air.
Well, that's our cue, guys. Let's get out of here. Saxy, you need to hurry up and get dressed.
I'm already dressed, Might. You lot were just too busy gawking at Celestia, eating mules, and talking about invisible poop to notice.
Are you upset about that? Would you have preferred it if we watched you too? You can do it all again if you want, and this time, we promise to watch.
Shut it, Tronald. Anyway, we can get going, but first I'm just going to head over to that merchant, give him 8 gold pieces, enough for a new mule, and then walk back to you guys. All right, come on then. Let's get out of here before Might decides to eat something else.
The merchant looks confused as Saxy hands him the 8 gold pieces, his brow furrowing in bewilderment. But not one to question free money, he accepts it with a grateful nod, though his eyes are still darting around for his missing mule. As you turn to leave, he mouths a subtle, "Thank you," his confusion lingering as he watches you all wander off. It's worth noting, Might, that you can put +1 next to your symbiotic relationship counter.
Oh, awesome.
All right then, where are you heading next?
All right, here's the plan. First, we'll need to gather some solid intel on the nobles, find out who's who and what their deal is. The more we know, the better our chances of getting in with them.
Makes sense. We can't just walk up to them and ask for a spot on the airship. We need to know their weaknesses, their connections, maybe even what they're trying to get out of this trip.
Right. Once we have the information, we can use it to slip inside the inner walls of the docking bay. That'll get us closer to the airships without raising too many eyebrows. Blend in, look the part, and make them think we belong.
Yep. After that, we start buddying up to a few of them, or if need be, gaining leverage over 1 or 2. Nobles love their secrets, and if we can find the right ones, we'll have them wrapped around our fingers.
Leverage or charm. Either way, by the time it comes to board, we should be established enough to get on without anyone batting an eye. And if they do ask questions...
Then, hopefully, our new connections will shut those questions down before they even reach us.
Sounds like a solid plan.
Well, let's find someone then. All right, Joe. I want to keep a lookout to see if we can spot any nobles heading back towards the airship area, maybe from a day out or something.
Give me a perception check, Tronald.
That's a 15.
After about 30 minutes of scanning the crowd, your patience is rewarded. You spot a man making his way back toward the airship docking area. He's hard to miss. Stout, round face with rosy cheeks that practically shine in the afternoon light. He's dressed in rich red velvet clothing, the kind that practically screams noble, and his fingers are heavy with numerous rings. A small jeweled cane swings lazily at his side as he walks, more for show than any real need for support. He's laughing heartily, seemingly at his own thoughts, and nodding to a few passers-by as if he's on a familiar stroll. His demeanor is open, friendly even, though you can tell from the exaggerated way he gestures that subtlety isn't his strong suit. He's definitely someone who enjoys the finer things in life.
All right then, you'll have to take the lead with this Saxi or Celestia. If this is our first mark, then we've got to make sure our nobility front starts now.
All right, let's do this.
Joe, as we approach him, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on the man using a second-level spell slot. Then, because of my expert divination, I can regain a first-level spell slot, the one I cast for mage armor each day.
All right. As you weave the magic into place, you feel your consciousness brush against Sir Reginald's thoughts, pulling from the surface of his mind as you all near. His jovial expression doesn't change, but beneath that laugh, you sense the usual fleeting surface musings of a man like him.
Well, good day to you, sir. You seem to be enjoying the fine afternoon. Might we trouble you for a word?
The man's eyes brighten as he turns toward Saxi, looking him up and down before offering a broad, welcoming smile.
Good day, my good man. What can I do for you on such a delightful day as this?
Tronald, as Sir Reginald speaks, you hear his thoughts filter through your mind, casual and meandering. He's thinking about his plans for the evening, wondering which tavern has the best wine, remembering a card game he won earlier, and recalling the face of the poor fool who lost a hefty sum to him. There's no suspicion, no guardedness, just the idle, somewhat carefree mind of a man who believes the world is his playground.
I'll swing by the Golden Flagon tonight. They always have the best wine. Or was it the Tavern of the Seven Coins? Who cares? I'll hit both. Oh, and maybe I'll double down on that hand tonight. Should have bluffed harder. Poor chaps. Didn't even see it coming.
His thoughts are light, focused on pleasures and indulgence, the perfect mark for someone wanting to worm their way into his favor.
I cast message discreetly to Saxi. Big drinker, big gambler, overall quite eccentric.
My lady and I were just talking about how hard it is to find proper company in such a city. A man like you, well, surely you could point us to where the real fun begins. Perhaps somewhere we could enjoy a game or two with fellow individuals of refined tastes. Outside the airships, of course.
Well, you're speaking my language. Not many folks out here understand the finer pleasures like a good drink and an honest game.
Indeed. Forgive my manners. Before we talk any further, may I ask to whom we have the pleasure of speaking?
Sir Reginald Hawke, a name that's known in circles where wealth and a fine vintage are appreciated. And you, sir? Surely you're someone of note to carry yourself with such presence.
Come now, surely you've heard of me. I thought word had traveled faster than that. Me and my wife weren't supposed to make our way to Waterdeep so soon, but, well, with the arrival of these magnificent airships, how could we resist? When we received the invitation to join the others aboard, we knew we had to take the opportunity. Wouldn't you agree?
As Saxi subtly hints at his supposed invitation aboard the airships, you, Tronald, sense Sir Reginald's mind racing through names and titles, trying to place him among the various lords and ladies of Auroros.
Lord Garand? No, he's still out of the city. Lady Danvera? Can't be. Perhaps he's from the Northern Estates then. But those are so exclusive. Damn, I really should attend more social events.
Sir Reginald's thoughts continue to swirl, his need to impress outweighing his suspicion. He's almost convinced he should know Saxi, but can't quite place him.
No need to overthink, friend. I'm not frustrated that you don't know me. In fact, I'd quite like to keep it that way for now. You see, my uncle, Lord Garand, has never been one for, well, these kinds of events. Detests them, honestly. He's often insisted that I steer clear of them, keep a low profile. But me? I lean in, lowering my voice slightly, as if sharing a secret. I'm quite the social type. And when it comes to dice, you couldn't keep me away from the tables if you tried. My uncle would have probably cut off my inheritance years ago if I didn't win so much.
Oh, I like you. A man who knows how to play his hand well. Lord Garand, you say? Well, no wonder you prefer the company of those who appreciate a little excitement. You must have quite the knack for the game if you've managed to keep your coffers full despite his prudish ways.
Luck, skill, or a bit of both, who's to say? But I'd wager that a few good drinks and the right company never hurt anyone. Speaking of which, do you happen to know where I might find a decent game around here, or perhaps a few friends willing to part with some gold?
Tronald, you're picking up on Sir Reginald's thoughts now. He's thoroughly entertained, flattered even, but still trying to recall any whispers of Lord Garand's nephew. though he doesn't stay on the topic for long and has already convinced himself fully of Saxy's status. His mind flickers between different gambling halls and noble gatherings, considering the best place to show off his own wealth and indulge in some games.
Gambling, you say? Now we're speaking the same language. Perhaps the Black Dove is still operating. They always had high-stakes games. Or maybe a private game on the airship. Plenty of wealthy fools eager to lose a few coins. I could introduce him, make a good show of it. I'd look even more connected. Ah, well, if it's a game you're after, I might know a place or two. Tell you what, why don't you join me this evening? There's always something happening amongst the aristocrats, and a bit of dice might just be the perfect way to warm up before we board the airship. What do you say?
He pauses, eyes gleaming with mischief, clearly delighted at the idea.
And who knows? Maybe we could even carry on the drinking and gambling aboard the airship itself. I know a few fellows who wouldn't turn down a little friendly wager, especially with some platinum at stake. Just as long as we don't stay out all night and get plastered, of course. The ships are set to leave first thing in the morning. Wouldn't want to miss that now, would we?
Reginald chuckles, already imagining the revelry, his round cheeks flushed with excitement.
You're lucky you made it here when you did, friend. Things are just starting to heat up, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride.
As Sir Reginald speaks, you pick up on his thoughts, Tronald. He's already thinking ahead, plotting how to impress his companions with a new, mysterious aristocrat in tow. He's eager to flaunt his connections, using the opportunity to elevate his status among his peers. Beneath his jovial exterior, there's a sense of relief, too, thankful for the company. He's the type to revel in camaraderie, but you can sense his eagerness to share stories that make him look grand.
Well, consider me intrigued, Sir Reginald. It sounds like you know how to throw a proper party. Count me in. And don't worry, I know how to pace myself. Most of the time.
Yes, we wouldn't want to make too much of a spectacle. At least not until we're already aboard.
And aren't you just lovely? My dear, it's an absolute pleasure.
He gently takes your hand, Celestia, and plants a theatrical kiss on it, lingering just enough to be charming without crossing the line.
I presume this is your gorgeous wife?
Your guess would be correct, sir. But don't let her looks fool you. She's as dangerous as she is beautiful. Trust me, I've seen her cut through more than just a conversation. You cross her at your own peril.
Well, well, a woman of beauty and strength. You've certainly made a fine match, my friend.
He raises an eyebrow, looking at the entire ensemble before him, clearly impressed.
And who are the rest of these fine folks? Your servants? Guards? Bodyguards, perhaps? Every noble needs a few strong arms around them, especially when traveling to such prestigious events.
Ah, yes, only the best for me, naturally. These are my elite guard, handpicked for their strength and skill. Let me introduce them. This is Jeff, a wizard of considerable power. I've seen him cast spells that would make your head spin faster than a good bottle of aged brandy.
A pleasure to meet you, sir.
And here we have a warrior unmatched in combat. We just call him the Green One. I swear, if you ever need a mountain moved or a dragon's head brought back as a trophy, he's your man. He doesn't know the meaning of backing down.
I'm big and green.
And as for Black Pudding over there...
I'm sorry, what?
You might think he's just here to play a tune or entertain you with a story. But don't be fooled. He's much more than song and dance. That man's magic can topple a room full of soldiers, and when he gets going, let's just say you'd want him on your side.
A wizard, a warrior, and a bard with more than just a knack for music, eh? Quite the entourage you've got, my friend. Sounds like you're well prepared for anything.
He winks at Celestia before turning back to you, Saxy.
And with a wife like that by your side, well, I dare say you've got all the protection you need.
I like to think so, Sir Reginald. Safety and style, that's my motto. And with this lot, I'm covered on both ends.
Safety and style, eh? I like that. A man after my own heart. You've got the charm, the company, and now, well, you've got me as well. Come then, let us begin our night of revelry. Wine, dice, and stories await us. There's a fine little establishment just around the corner where the aristocrats like to gather. No common folk, mind you. We can drink, play, and talk freely without any of the prying eyes or nosy ears to bother us. And who knows, perhaps we'll find ourselves with a little extra coin in our pockets by the end of it. Just don't let me clean you out too badly, eh? Dice and drink are my specialties, after all.
Please lead the way, Sir Reginald.
And that's where we're going to wrap up this session. See you later, guys.